Hello, welcome to another Burgundy with Tweedy video, back in the woods again. This is a producer I have featured a few times before, and I almost wonder if I've had this particular vintage of their Gevrey Chambertin before. It's the 2017. The producer is Taupenot Merme. Quite likely I've had this vintage before, and I've probably done tasting notes. Looks like a diam cork to me. Or should I say a diam closure? I think it's still cork, isn't it? It's just sort of processed cork, ultra processed cork. I can't read the number. I think that's a 10. Not that the GoPro is going to be able to focus on that either. An MD10 diam rated for, might even be a bit longer. I think it's 10. Oh dear. I've forgotten to bring a glass, haven't I? I was washing my glass up at home and I think I've left it next to the sink. I brought everything else. I checked that I had my bottle opener, all my camera equipment. I've got a mat to sit on, absolutely everything. I don't have a glass to drink out of. I don't think it would really be doing it justice to swig it out of the bottle, would it? Be a bit unseemly. So I suppose I'm going to be moving the rest of this back home now. Oh, what a farce. Well, at least I had a nice walk. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, wobbly table, how annoying. Back at home now. So this has, I suppose, at least had a bit of an airing in the bottle. Hopefully for once, I think I'm in reasonable lighting conditions. So I would say that is ever so slightly starting to kind of brown. It's got it's translucent-ish, and perhaps somewhere in the middle colour-wise, not particularly dark, but I'm just getting this slight sense of a wine that is beginning to age a bit. I suppose this is getting on for 8 years old now, isn't it? 2017. We're in summer of 2025. It'll only be another couple of months and they'll probably be harvesting in Burgundy. It's much earlier there than it is here, isn't it? So yeah, it's certainly no spring chicken anymore, 2017. Before giving it a swirl, other than that sort of back and forth I've just been doing while I've been examining the colour, I think that actually smells quite like youthful Pinot Noir, actually. It has that slight sense of kind of menthol that you sometimes get in very young Pinot Noir. It reminds me a bit of cherry tunes, you know, those sweets you'd have for a sore throat or a cough or some sort of cold type ailment. But the fruit character there is a little bit standoffish and almost slightly severe at the moment. Hopefully a bit of a swirl will wake that up. You'd have thought it's had a fair amount of agitation in bottle. Still a little bit severe, I would say. The fruit character there, I initially said cherry tunes, cherry boiled sweets, but it's only a faint hint of cherry, and the rest of the fruit character is a bit more red berry fruit leaning into cranberry, and there's possibly something like rosehip there, a slightly hedgerowy expression of something floral, rosehip tea, that sort of thing. And then, I don't know, a little hint there of something a bit more fruity. A mixed bag there then, slightly confusing picture of, at times, youthful notes, but certainly in terms of fruit character, I wouldn't say this is particularly youthful. Okay, let's give it a sip. Okay, interesting. I think there is some cherry-like fruit on the palate there. Again, maybe with a hint of berry fruit veering into cranberry. Some spice on the finish there. Surprising bit of spice towards the end. But that fruit character is heading a little bit savoury. It's definitely not fresh, luscious fruit at this point. There's almost a slightly medicinal quality, perhaps that's carrying on from those cherry tunes. There is still a decent amount of acidity, I think, and there's a reasonably nice mouthfeel to that, reasonably smooth, but with almost a slight hint of, I don't know, cough syrup or something. That it's certainly not gloopy, but there's a vague hint of that sensation of something like medicinal cough syrup in the mouthfeel particularly. I'm likely to come to the conclusion that I would have preferred this when it was younger. As I say, I think I probably have had this vintage from Taupenot Merme before. I don't know if it's perhaps in a strange bit of its development, a sort of awkward adolescent phase now where it doesn't really have the kind of pretty fresh fruit of its youth, and it's possibly heading in the direction of being complex and interesting, but it's got the wine equivalent of acne at the moment, I think. Sort of awkward teenage phase or something. I'm assuming it will pick up from here. Yeah, it is all a little bit savoury. Actually, I think medicinal is a sort of quite a good characterisation for this. There are various characteristics of this that remind me of medicine, medicated sweets, lockets, that sort of thing. Menthol and eucalyptus and all those kind of notes. And that hint of spice on the end. And it's possibly an interesting, pensive wine for the winter months, maybe. Not sure June is necessarily the right time to have opened this. Not a particularly hot summer's day. It's a relatively mild one, but I think I'd call this more spring rather than summer, really, weather-wise. But this feels like more of a kind of autumnal or wintry kind of wine, when you might kind of enjoy those slight hints of hedgerows and the medicinal side of it. My current setting, I think I preferred that when it was younger. I've certainly preferred other Taupenot Merme vintages, if I haven't had specifically this one, in comparative youth. Oh well, hasn't been a very successful experiment, has it, with the failure to actually have any wine in the woods, followed by a slightly weird, complicated. I may grow to like this. Perhaps this is one of those wines that by sort of glass 3, I might have started to warm to its challenging nuances. Right now, I think I would prefer something a bit sort of younger, fresher, fruitier. Cheers.